Hiya guys, Freddy here. Welcome to a retro magazine video. Because this time we're going to be looking at Roleplayer Independent Issue number 4 from March 1993. And it's their special Miniatures Battles issue, which I'm not the biggest fan of wargaming, so it's not really for me. But Roleplayer Independent is a great magazine which has adventures in it. Even if they are kind of brief, they're only the shortest outlines of what an adventure should be. There's some great ideas in there for different games. So we'll have a lot of fun looking through that. But before I do that, as usual, I've got to say thank you to my Patreons, who are wonderful, wonderful people who help support the channel. So I'd like to thank them from the absolute bottom of my heart. Thanks for everything they do. But I have to ask, if you can afford it, would you consider supporting the channel? You'll get access to these videos a week early, you'll get access to certain other Patreon videos that we put up uniquely over there, and there's other benefits on different levels. So if you check out the Patreon in the description down below, it'd be very much appreciated. But anyway, let's get over and have a look through Roleplayer Independent issue number 4. So, this is Roleplayer Independent, Volume 1, Issue 4 from March 1993. Now, this is a magazine which is trying to cover all of role-playing. So it covers wargaming, it covers role-playing games, it covers play-by-mail, it covers live role-playing, and as time went on, I think it probably went into covering collectible card games, although the early 90s is probably a bit early for that. Now, this is where this issue falls down. Because it's trying to cover everything, sometimes it focuses on things which we're not really that interested in. So I wasn't really interested in tabletop wargaming, and that's what this issue concentrates on. It's giving you various scenarios for different games, and a lot of space given to that, which means that this issue is a bit forgettable for me. But there's a couple of role-playing things in here, and it's focusing. Blood. Win copies of the most gruesome RPG to date. Anybody who watches the channel knows that I love the role-playing game Blood. One of my favourite role-playing games. So weird. A horror game, but not of cerebral horror, more just splatter horror. You're far more likely to be hit in the face with a chainsaw than to go insane in Blood. Great stuff. And there's a lovely review in here. Inside, we've got advert for alternative armies. I forgot to mention, the cover image, I believe, is from Firefight. It's a very nice image indeed, which is from Alternative Armies. It's their, obviously, sort of science fiction battle game, going up somewhere against Warhammer 40k, probably. We've got the contents page. Inside, and we're straight into brief bits of news. We've got information on Slay Industries coming out from Nightfall Games. Jared Earl and Brian Duggan have already completed work on their second game, Bible, which I don't remember at all. It does mention that Karma was coming out from Slay. Mayfair Games bringing out softcover version of Chill. Obviously, we've covered the earlier version on the channel recently, but I haven't gone on to the Mayfair Games version. Avalon Hill bringing out Tales from the Vagabond, Live and Let Spy. What else we got in here? Games Designers Workshop bringing out the Empathic Sourcebook for Dark Conspiracy, which I covered fairly recently, I believe. White Wolf, loads of stuff coming out from them. Chicago by Night, Clan Book for Malkavian, Under a Blood Red Moon, which I covered very recently. Werewolf Player's Guide, which I covered a very long time ago. Drums Around the Fire, Tribunals of Hermes, Rome for Ars Magica. Faza, there's Dark Angel for Shadowrun, Killing Glare, Imago, and the Intelligent Operations Handbook for Battletech. Palladium Books, bringing out Macross 2, Riftswell Book 3, England, Ninjas and Super Spies, Heroes Unlimited, Beyond the Supernatural, Mystic China, Compendium of Contemporary Weapons, which I believe was out from a different company originally, but I could be wrong. Iron Crown Enterprises bringing out Space Master, is it? Oh, just various books. Oh, it's mentioning that Middle-earth Roleplay is going out of print. Went out at the end of January. The license was ended. We've got Artalzorian Games for Cyberpunk 2020. Raish Bartmoss's Guide to the Net, Home of the Brave. Maximum Metal, which I covered a long time ago. Deep Space, which I covered a long time ago. Chromebook 1, Chromebook 2. Compendium of Modern Arms. Steve Jackson Games bring out Atomic Horror, which was in the poll but didn't lose. Aztecs and Cyberworld, neither of which I've covered. An advert for Lone Wolf Game Books and some miniatures. Then we've got the Immortals. Now these are new enemies for players. They are far more powerful NPCs. And it's just sort of fleshing them out from Arasaka. Just a few pages on that and some adventure ideas. We've got Rampage at Ripecherry, a non-generic fantasy battle scenario designed for conversion and use with any major fantasy mass battle system by Joe Dever. Playtested by Wayne, Nigel Gross, John Sutherland and Dave Renton. So we've got some maps here going through. As I said, I don't really have that much interest in wargaming, so that one kind of passes me by. We've got Scenario Ideas and Optional Rules for Full Thrust, 2nd edition. A game which sounds like something I would absolutely adore, but I haven't covered. There's some alternative rules here, striking colours, red leader, we're going in, beam us up. Did I flick over 2 pages there? Or is that just a thick page? It's just a thick page. Anyway, what have we got next? Adverts for Quest, a new dimension in computer gaming. I don't remember that at all. A scenario for Alternative Armies Firefight. Setting up missions, different options within it. The Battle of Olamon's Pass, a scenario for Grenadiers Fantasy Warriors. Again, not my kind of thing. Nice map to set up where the forces are from. The different scenarios playing out, who gets the pay chest at the end. We've got an article on extra careers for Dark Conspiracy, Games Designers Workshop game of sort of near-future horror. Hustlers, explorers, vigilantes, hackers, corporate cops, assassins. Obviously, Games Designers Workshop games tended to be quite interesting because as your character went, they went through different careers and they would learn different sets of skills as they went through them, making your character fairly unique. You weren't just getting a class, you were creating their full history. What else we got here? Outland Trader, Repo Man, Enforcer, and Taxi Driver. Some small ads there. The Dead Travel Fast by Jim Johnston. Now this is a Call of Cthulhu scenario, but a Dracula-based one. So it's the third and last in the series that they've done. And this is about them going back to Transylvania. You've been through the sections of the Dracula story where he went to England and all that, and now you're travelling back. So we've got information here that his connection with the Horde, travelling back by air over the Alps, travelling in Transylvania, if you're travelling by sea, Agents of Darkness, different people you encounter, until eventually you reach Castle Dracula and you explore it. So there's information to gain access to it, what you discover within it, how to search it, face-to-face with Count Dracula underwater, and conclusions and follow-up scenarios. So you've been through the whole of the Dracula story, including chasing him back to his homeland and having a face-down with him in his castle. Really quite interesting. I don't think it's too fleshed out, but there's some definitely great ideas in there. And for Call of Cthulhu, we've got loads and loads of stats here. Vlad Dracula himself at Nobleman and Vampire. We've got werewolves in lycanthrope form. Really taking Call of Cthulhu back to traditional horror. I like that idea. We've got a section on miniatures here. Denizens in the form of twin catgirls. Were they not from Dominion Tank Police, the catgirls? We've got a short fiction, The Dark House. A review of the Mechanoids, Rift Sourcebook 2. Again, covered it on the channel. Umhu War Machine. Not aware of that one at all. Looks like sort of another mech game, so Battletech type stuff. We've got Grey Space for Spelljammer, something I will have to cover because it's by Nigel D. Findlay. Anybody who covers the channel know that I adored Nigel Findlay's stuff, and having read through Spelljammer fairly recently and being quite enthused by it, seeing what he had to say in Dungeons & Dragons, I really want to do that. So you might just get a random video, I might not put it in the poll at all, I might just cover Grey Space so I can read through some of Nigel Findlay's stuff. Really taken from us way too soon. We've got a review of Blood, the role-playing game of modern horror by Underground Games, Norley Tucker and Stephen Osborne. Absolutely great game. I adore it. All in all, many hours of gruesome amusement worth every penny. Played through those scenarios, love the critical hit tables. Such a great game. We've got a scenario for Hollow World, the Millennium Scepter. I covered Hollow World fairly recently, and really quite enjoyed it, what it was. Wonder what the adventures are like. Valley of Dust and Fire for Dark Sun, Riddle of Cradles for RuneQuest, Volo's Guide to Waterdeep for the Forgotten Realms, Children of the Inquisition for Vampire the Masquerade, the Grimoire, I don't think I've covered that yet, for Shadowrun First Edition. Must be one of the few things for First Edition I haven't covered. The Mighty Fortress Campaign Sourcebook by TSR, a competition to win yourself a copy of Blood. I already have it, but one of the guys in my group actually had a signed copy. I remember communicating to Norley Tucker, the writer, who thought that probably devalued it. Statistics for the Ripecherry scenario. Some spells. We've got the letters page. We've got classifieds. Various gaming clubs. Is there anything in my neck of the woods? I don't really see anything. Various events. Postscript. So, talking about various games. Star Trek. A game of empire building. Play by mail. The back issues, subscription, an advert for the Battletech technical readouts, which, because I love diagrams, I absolutely adore these books. Never played Battletech since about the 80s, but have kept up to date with those books because they are just lovely. And on the back, we have the Duel for Alternative Armies. Now, these were war games, but using sort of elves, orcs, etc., but in like Napoleonic settings. I loved their stuff. One of the gaming shops I used to go into had their stuff set up, and it was brilliant. Really wanted there to be a role-playing game of it, because I really like that idea of fancy races in other time settings. But that is Roleplayer Independent, issue number 4. Some really great stuff in there. The scenarios aren't as fleshed out, aren't as detailed as I would really like, and there was way too much wargaming stuff in it for me. But still a great look back into the early 90s. So that was Roleplayer Independent issue number 4, and some great stuff in there. Even if I'm not the biggest fan of war games, I can appreciate the stuff put in there. My only interest in war games came from the original 40k Rogue Trader that I bought way back in the 80s. The week it came out, I picked up a copy. And I loved the universe, so I picked up many of the War Gear books and the codexes over the years to keep up to date with what was happening in that universe. But I never really played it. I had a couple of battles when I first got it, but never bothered about it ever since then. And wargaming itself isn't of that much interest to me, so those articles I tend to skip through. But there's some interesting adventures in there, even if they are a bit brief. And it was great looking out at all the stuff that was coming out in the early 90s. So many memories brought back, so many great games in there. Oh, wonderful glimpse back at that era. Now, as usual, I think I've been wittering on quite long enough. So first, I would like to ask you to like, subscribe, and comment below. Let me know what you thought of the video. But in this time, because it always seems a bit presumptuous to ask people to like a video before they've watched it. But this is the very end, so now's the time to like it. Thank you very much if you enjoyed it. But anyway, you guys look after yourselves, and I'll catch you later. Bye now.